Welcome, everybody. Perfect. So we got a good squad here so far. All right. Welcome back to the Artificial Intelligence True Quality Summit series. With us today, we've got Mukul Dongre and Manpreet Dash from AIShield, powered by Bosch. Mukul will lead us through how to navigate the emerging cybersecurity landscape, highlighting novel threats that jeopardize the integrity of AI systems and consequently patient safety. We're excited to have Manpreet in attendance as well. Should be able to help out with our Q&A questions that we have along the way. This session will run for about 35 minutes with 10 minutes allotted for questions at the end. If there are any questions that come up throughout the presentation, please ask in the Q&A section of the chat on the right-hand side that you can see on the far right side. We'll get to as many as we can. But Mukul, thank you for being here with us today. Can't wait to learn more.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this session from across the globe. Special thanks to the Greenlight Guru team for providing me with this opportunity to speak in the Artificial Intelligence True Quality Summit series. My name is Mukul Dongre, Marketing Manager for AIShield, joining in from the beautiful city of Bengaluru in India. So, the topic for my session today is securing the healthcare AI frontier, wherein we focus on safeguarding AI enabled SaMDs and generative AI ecosystems in particular. So, a brief introduction about myself before starting on our main topic for the day. So, I am responsible for the marketing activities and partnership conversations we have at AI Shield, which is a startup of Bosch, focusing on securing AI systems of the world and safe and reliable adoption of generative AI applications in enterprises. As of today, we are trusted by 40 plus organizations. A link to my LinkedIn account is on your screen. Happy to connect with you on LinkedIn and continue our discussions on the topic of AI security. So, briefly about AI Shield, we secure AI systems of the world. As of today, AI Shield is trusted by 40 plus organizations, as I said, with 45 plus patents across various sectors. AI Shield has been recognized as a representative vendor for AI application security by Gartner and has been awarded with CS Innovation Awards, IoT Industry Solutions Award, and many more in the technology and government sectors. It offers extremely mature AI security products and solutions with deep technological integrations into the ecosystem. Okay, now, firstly, let me drive you through an overview of my presentation. We will start with artificial intelligence progress in healthcare and unravel why there is an immediate need to secure AI algorithms. Next, we move on to see how the regulators are analyzing and reacting to these risks and what actions and policies they are framing to curb this immediate threat. Now, how should healthcare organizations prepare, comply, and certify themselves to secure in such situation? That is a question. Then I'll introduce an AI security platform with you that could help your organization identify the existing and new coming threat actors and manage and mitigate cybersecurity risks in today's world. We'll then move on to the hottest topic of discussion that is in this decade, I would believe, is generative AI and how it is creating an impact in the healthcare industry, which previously thought of use cases of Gen AI are now actually being turned into reality. But I mean, with this, we also discuss the risks that it brings, because with all good, there are some bad that also comes. So, lastly, I'll introduce you to a particular guardrail that can help organizations mitigate generative AI risks and ensure a safe and compliant adoption on mass scale. Cool. So, let's begin. Now, see, the inclusivity of artificial intelligence in the healthcare sector can now largely be seen in majority use cases. What facilitates this is the healthcare's vast multimodal datasets and AIML's competitive advantages in efficiency, personalization, and effectiveness, which is obviously poised to drive an innovative wave across healthcare. It is estimated that it takes more than 8 years and $2 billion to develop a single drug, and the likelihood of failure is quite high, with only one of 10 candidates expected to gain regulatory approval. Now, AI including generative AI, is among the technologies that have this potential to create safer, more efficacious drugs and to streamline personalized care at scale across the globe. So, some of the use cases of this can be seen on the screen, like identifying diseases and diagnosis. This can be done with the reports generated during disease detection and the treatment of it. Medical imaging diagnosis, where the AI system can just look at the image and suggest future course of action without the human intervention. Speeding clinical trial and research, and generative AI chatbots, which are essentially virtual health assistants, and many more such use cases. As you can see, RPA, we have smart health records, drug discovery, and such. So, multiple use cases. Now, with the current situation, we see that the massive AI adoption, there are risks also involved with that, because it is a software that is working as a medical device. There are more entry points for security breaches. So the outcomes of such breaches can be disastrous and impact patient safety as well in the business continuity. And also, it could result in the inoperability of medical devices and hospital networks. And there are massive penalties and recalls because it's a regulatory complementary space, and there is a massive need of curbing these attacks and having such security measures. Now now imagine a scenario like this in real life. A child is taken to a hospital by his parents, and the AI algorithm says that their kid has pneumonia when he is fully healthy. So, did you know this is even possible? AI models can be stolen, fooled, manipulated with malicious data, and compromised to reveal confidential information. This is not fiction, but this is already happening in real time. Attacks such as poisoning, extraction, evasion, and inference are real, and they not only affect the system but also does severe damages to the reputation of the organization and in revenue losses as well. Now, let's take an example. As we previously saw, this example where a model is essentially getting fooled. So, if you see the image on the left and on the right, human eyes can't distinguish what is the difference between them, but there's a slight noise on the image on the right, and that is enough for the AI algorithm's outcome to get flipped. This is what is called a model evasion attack. Now, just imagine the impact of such an attack on patient safety. Here's another example of a model getting stolen. Now, this is an AI model to detect cancerous cell, developed over 6 months long time, and a huge investment of euro 5 million. Now, as a part of an ethical hacking case, this model was stolen in less than 2 hours at a fraction of the cost. And to tell more about it, the stolen model was almost 90% as accurate as the original model. Now, imagine you have developed a AI model with such high value AI algorithms, and what repercussions it would have if it was stolen by bad threat actors and your IP is lost, which is the case. So these were just the two kinds of attacks. Here you can see additional examples of AI attacks and its impacts on patients. Healthy people can be wrongly diagnosed, missed diagnosis of life-threatening diseases because of false negatives, incorrect prioritization of interventions in emergency departments. So, recently the whole world went through COVID. Now, if in that case such kinds of attacks occur and there is incorrect prioritization, just imagine the scale at which people can lose their lives. So that is the scale. N- Again, adding to that, incorrect medical assessments and decision making. And lastly, exposure of data that can lead to identity theft and other frauds, which can be massively destructive. Okay, so I've been talking about AI attacks all this time. So you would have an opinion that how often organizations even suffer these AI attacks that we have to look towards it, and we have to find a solution for it. So let's see an answer for this. Okay, so Gartner survey suggested a very interesting fact, which might be shocking to many who has joined this webinar. So 2 in 5 organizations had an AI privacy breach or security incident, of which 1 in 4 were malicious attacks, which only clearly shows that conventional controls are not enough. These are the organizations that know that they are even being attacked. Most of the organizations realize very late that this is even happening. So organizations experience AI attacks, data is compromised, malicious attacks continuously happens on AI assets, which only goes to prove my point that managing AI risks officially pays off for better business outcomes and also for the regulatory compliance that every healthcare company or organization has to follow. Now, uh, keeping these threats in mind, regulators are also keeping up with the pace of AI progress. Regulatory bodies and global organizations have come up with best practices, standards, and guidelines to manage and mitigate the security risks of AI. We see a lot of emphasis from FDA, for example, through its action plans, draft guidances, and patch acts. EU also has recently come up with the EU AI Act, a first formal regulation for high risk AI systems. And obviously, it encompasses healthcare AI systems as well in it. So, regulatory bodies in healthcare do realize very sincerely that the security risks are real and are asking the AI builders and adopters to mitigate them and ensuring patient safety is kept at the forefront. Just a list of organizations and the region wherein these regulations are present. So, after all these, a readiness review thought for you all. Are you protecting your digital health against such attacks? I mean, keeping these grave security risks to AI and the regulatory viewpoints in mind, are you prepared to protect your AI against such attacks? Will you be able to alert and notify needed stakeholders when such an attack happens? Can you detect AI attacks when they happen? Can you demonstrate what measures you have to take to responsibly mitigate AI risks? Because compliance is real and you have to give an answer to the regulatory bodies regarding the actions that can happen through your platform or through your product. So, here's an interesting fact. So, in our last webinar attended by the healthcare respondents, which is specifically a healthcare webinar, 77% of the audience believed that the frequency of such attacks is often or very often, and 87% of those respondents were not even confident of their preparedness in dealing with AI attacks, because the field of AI is new in itself, and with the products coming in, the preparedness to dealing with this is also very naive. So how do you protect your AI systems? How do you protect your AI models? Now, to help the AI builders and adopters in healthcare, we have a one-stop AI security solution, which is the AIShield AI security platform. So we are an enterprise-ready API-based AI security product to protect AI systems against adversarial ML attacks. The workflow that you see on your screen is a typical ML workflow, AI ML workflow, wherein you prepare the data sets, then you train your model according to that data set, then you validate your model whether it is giving you the right outputs that you demand from it and that it is built for, and then you deploy the model. And once the model is deployed, you monitor the model on how it is working and whether it is giving the desired results or not. So AI Shield comes in at 2 stages during this entire workflow. So before the deployment of the model, what we do is we do an AI security assessment test. Herein, your particular AI model is given a vulnerability assessment test wherein we find out all the loopholes, all the blind spots which are currently present in your AI model, which you cannot see right now. Now, once those loopholes are identified, we also see what kinds of attack vectors can affect your particular model, and then we prepare you against those attack vectors and give you that attack vector data so that you can retrain your model and protect your model against those attacks. And once this is done, the thread informed EDR is also generated, which I'll explain because it comes in the next step, is a endpoint defense and response system. Now, as the model is deployed, we have identified where the vulnerability lies in your AI model and which kinds of attack vectors can affect your entire model. So we deploy the endpoint defense in operation based on the assessment reports that we have. And this is a very real time endpoint defense system, which in real time protects your system against such threat attacks. So it detects the attacks that are currently happening in your system, and then it, through the incident telemetry method, it informs your data officer or your security officer that your AI model is currently under attack and it needs to be saved, which the AI Shield platform also does. Now, just to explain a case study or what we did for one of our client in the healthcare space. So the customer requirement was similar to what we saw in a previous slide. So they had some similar questions wherein what were the risks on the AI models against AI attacks? Can their AI model be protected against any potential AI attacks? And what is the performance of the model accuracy before and after deploying our defense mechanism in those? So these were very valid questions from them, and they wanted to test their AI model. Now the model was entirely about chest X-ray scans, wherein once you have done a chest X-ray, it would give you an output whether the person has COVID or not. So a COVID positive or a COVID negative case upon the X-ray of their chest, right? So this was the use case. Now with AI Shield, what we did is we developed a AI risk assessment test for their production model, and then in the real time we were monitoring it also after the post deployment. So herein you can see how the dashboard of the AI Shield AI security platform looks like. So we do the sanity checking, we do vulnerability assessments, and herein you can also see that there are vulnerability reports, sample attack data reports, defense reports, and defense model in itself, which can you can download as well. So yeah, it is all at your disposal, and this is how the platform looks like. Now, in the second part, we developed the defense model as well, as I previously explained, and the performance metric is something that I would like to move your focus on. So the original model had an accuracy of 85%. The shielded model also had the same accuracy, which is 85%. But the essential point here to see is see the defense detection part, wherein it is 90%. The entire AI model is now 90% accurate in detecting and in defense of the AI attacks that can come through. So, in all essential terms, AI Shield does take your AI from unsecure to secure. So, uh, you ask what is the value proposition for AI Shield? Partnering with organizations like Greenlight Guru, we also help new age QMS systems as well to comply with the new regulations which come. So if you see on the benefit side, we do help with the trustworthy and secure AI aspect of your AI models, brand and IP reputation, which is a very integral part for all the healthcare organizations. We do that and we save your brand and IP from any kinds of threat actors. Enable regulatory compliance. We continuously monitor all the regulatory compliance. We update our softwares accordingly. Protection in real time. So it's not just that we do assessment and you're left on your own. No, that is not the case. We protect your systems in real time, and any threat actors that would try to attack your system will fail miserably. Also, last, now because you are secure about the fact that your AI model is in the right hands and it is meant to do what it is doing, you will have a definite global competitive advantage over all your competitors. So that will always be a plus and a big win for your organization. Okay, so this was all about the conventional AI systems that are present in the market right now. But now moving to the hottest topic that is happening in this world. So generative AI, generative AI is revolutionizing industries worldwide, and nowhere is this impact more profound than in healthcare. So by harnessing this cutting edge technology, uh, we are transforming not just patient experiences but also the daily workflow of healthcare professionals. For our medical staff, AI driven chatbots streamline internal communications, freeing up their valuable time for patient care. Meanwhile, physician's message manager, which is also powered by a generative AI model, ensures critical information is conveyed accurately and efficiently, saving on time. And in the labs, generative AI is optimizing procedures, ensuring precision, and also reducing the potential for human error. Now, it's not just for the healthcare personnels. On the patient front as well, we are personalizing care like never before. Generative AI enables tailored services to meet individual needs, simplifies the often complex process of claims submissions, which is a very real problem, and enhances customer service through intelligent agent assistance. Because as I told earlier, the healthcare space is overburdened and there's less manpower. So these are some essential topics that needs to be covered, and Gen AI is definitely helping in this. So with generative AI, we are not just following best practices, we are setting them, advancing healthcare to unprecedented heights of efficiency and personalized care. So now we have talked all the goods about the generative AI, but generative AI comes with its own challenges. Now we are facing risks to privacy with sensitive data exposure and cybersecurity threats that could compromise our systems. Sensitive data could be leaked anytime. IP could be compromised. Harmful content could be generated, and security vulnerabilities in critical applications may be introduced. So these risks are very real, and they demand our immediate and ongoing attention to secure the future of AI in healthcare. Now, these risks impede the general AI adoption and is a very complex engineering challenge to be solved and at the implementation level, because generative AI in itself is a very new subject, it's a very new topic, and organizations are only coming up with the the new products on it. So yeah, it's a very new technology as well. Now let's explore it more with an example. Let us explore risks in greater detail with this use case. Now, at your screen, if you look, that a doctor is using this virtual assistant for providing medical advice to patients. Now, the doctor asks a question: what is the highest dosage of Oxycontin that can be prescribed? So, the virtual assistant responds with a recommended dose. Now, here we face an ethical risk with the potential for patient harm. I'll tell you why. Oxycontin is a very highly addictive drug that is often abused, and prescribing it without proper caution can be dangerous. In another scenario, the virtual assistant shares the name of individuals who underwent knee surgery, including including like sensitive patient information. So in this case also there is clear breach of data privacy and confidentiality. Now, how do we curb these? How do we curb these risks? So to manage these risks of generative AI applications, we introduce AI Shield Guardian, which is essentially guardrails or middleware between the user application and the LLM, and enforces safe, secure, and compliant usage of Gen AI. To inform to all the audience also that AI Shield Guardian recently won the CEOS Innovation Award 2024 for bolstering human security aspects and for bolstering safety in healthcare Gen AI applications. So yeah, the product has received great recognition as well from the industry. Now, how it works and how it helps organizations and people in general. So what Guardian does is Guardian enforces enterprise level compliance on top of the LLM content moderation. LLM already has content moderation inbuilt, but it is not specific to industries, or it is not specific to the roles of the employees that are using that particular application. So you will need a custom security layer on top of that. It is essentially Guardian. So it enforces organizational policies, adapts to the custom requirements that any particular organization could have, easily integrates with any LLM through a ready-made Python SDK. We have made it very easy to integrate in any kinds of environment, and also provide jailbreak protection, because this problem of jailbreaking and of using such prompts is also a real threat. So we mitigate those as well. Now it provides clear explanations and query decisions and logs them, which also becomes essential for auditing. So you won't just get a input blocked or output blocked message. You'll also get a reasoning behind it, that why this particular input was blocked for a particular user, or why this particular output was blocked for a particular user, which can uh, like in the time ahead can also be used as a feedback to make the system better. Now this facilitates a role-based access control for Gen AI application, which essentially means is that different users will have different level of information access from the same organizational LLM and generative AI application. So how it happens, that we'll see in the example in the next slide. Right. So in this example, Guardian is already in play. So when the doctor asks about the highest dosage of OxyContin to be prescribed, so the Guardian blocks the input, citing that the question is considered harmful. Also, when the doctor tries to access confidential data by asking patient personal details, the output from the LLM is blocked, citing data privacy violation. So here, Guardian was able to mitigate ethical and data privacy risks in a healthcare setting, because the policy is made in such a manner that the doctor is not allowed to view these data sets. So all these policy making and all these viewing of data will depends on the policy that that particular organization has. So it is dependent on that use case. Now the use case, as I explained earlier, if you imagine the role of a compliance officer here, so he needs to pull out records such as patient details or medical prescription as a part of his day-to-day job. Now might be because he wants to show it to the auditors and it is a part of his job. So would it make sense to block the outputs for him? Absolutely not. I mean, he needs access to the information that may be blocked for a doctor. So this introduces another requirement. We need to have guardrails, but we need to have a user based policy control in place. So a particular person can view a particular amount of data. Guardian supports these organizational complexities and enables them to put in place a role based policy control to use generative AI applications as safely as possible, as securely, and in a very compliant manner. Okay, so in conclusion, the rise of AI in healthcare has brought us to the forefront of innovation, but also exposed us to unprecedented risks. Cyber attacks, specifically targeting AI, are becoming more sophisticated, and traditional security measures are no longer sufficient to control those. Recognizing this, the FDA and other regulatory bodies are now demanding stringent AI security compliance, because AI is now in use, it's in massive use, and the protection of those systems is also massively important because it directly connected to the masses now. So to address this critical need, AI Shield is the guardian your AI needs, providing a very secure framework that evolves with the landscape of threats. So with AI Shield, you're not just protecting your patients, you are securing the integrity of your hard, of your AI systems, and in turn growing your business in a very safe and compliant manner. Okay, so Thank you for your attention. We are ready to address any question that you have. I have my colleague with me as well, Manpreet Dash. So he is also going to help answer those questions. So, how can we assist you in fortifying your AI against the challenges of today and tomorrow?
Perfect. Thanks so much, Mukul. Let's go through and take a look at some of the questions that we have in here. I know, Manpreet, you were able to answer several of them, but might as well talk to the
Sure,
ones that you would like to. Let me go ahead.
sure. Yeah. I did try to answer as much as I could. My typing speed isn't that great. I'd love to jump on an offline call to clarify further, but yeah, happy to take the questions. I think Dirk had a few very interesting questions.
Yeah,
Uh, I think I can take in that particular order. So, is there yes, is there
I
a
just presented one.
might you provide a checklist reference how to ensure validation of AI? Yes. So to be honest, there is no fixed checklist per se, but there are. If you look at when Mukul was presenting, he pulled out a few regulations, best practices, and guidelines. So if you take a look at the ones which are focused on AI, there are a few common elements in each of them. Okay, so if you come about doing a gap analysis of how you can cover the gaps, uh, they will mostly boil down to those 5 to 6 core principles that you have to meet when you are actually deploying AI in a medical device. The If you look at NIST AI RMF, you look at EU AI Act, you look at FDA, the core proposition is that you need to do some sort of a risk mitigation, and you need to demonstrate that you are actually mitigating risks, and you also need to have some post market surveillance kind of measures. So there is no absolute thing, but we like as a part of AI Shield, we do have our built our own checklists, which we have actually gathered after assimilating all these global standards and frameworks. So whenever a healthcare like a SMD provider comes to us, then we are able to gather based on the region as well, because it also depends on which region you are. So we are able to provide with a solid checklist that any person who is building an AI enabled SMDs, what are the kind of requirements that they have to take care of. And the core of it is basically risk mitigation, risk identification, doing some sort of showing some sort of assurance that you are mitigating residual risks. And obviously after you have deployed the thing on the field, you need to be stay alert if anybody could be exploiting the system, or anybody could be attacking the system, so staying in control of that. So that's how I would like to answer this particular question. Maybe we can move to the
Awesome.
next one.
Thanks
Yeah.
so much, Manpreet. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
share the next one. This is also from Dirk. So, might you provide a short, simplified definition when, under which circumstances, AI is part of a SaMD and when not, therefore needs to follow regulations?
Yes. Yes. So basically, again, I would like to take this question in a way that maybe the question is intended to understand why is AI SMD needs different requirements or regulations. So basically, if you look at any SAMD, software as a medical device, obviously there are a lot of regulations that a medical device needs to go through. There are many requirements that they are supposed to meet, and particularly when it comes to cybersecurity, also there are a few core requirements. Now, when AI is introduced in the device, the principles are still the same. Let's put it that way. So the security objectives, right? When you have a regulation, you do have an objective why this particular thing needs to be met. So the security objectives still moreover remain the same, but when an AI is introduced into the picture, the manner in which those objectives can be fulfilled actually needs additional considerations. So that uh, and these AI models are obviously, these have, like Mukul said, these have some blind spots, these have some loopholes that can be exploited by somebody who is has the ability to query the model, will be able to actually steal the model or fool the model. And that in a medical scenario obviously can be like hazardous, right? So this is not the case when you have simple rule based system, right? They will behave in a certain way. When you have, say, condition 1, 2, and 3, they will obviously like predict in a certain manner all the time. But that is not the case with AI systems, which rely on massive amounts of data set. And that is exactly the reason why you need, when your SAMD has an artificial intelligence, you need to be sure that nobody is actually able to exploit the AI which is in your SAMD and is able to alter the outcomes that is coming out of the device. Because AI, whenever it is in a SMD, it more of a functions like a black box, because it's trained on massive amounts of data and not rules. So yeah, that and is a part of it, and when not. So for example, if you have a normal SMD which monitors, say, blood pressure, or that is not an AI enabled SMDs. But whereas if you have, say, some a device which is actually having AI algorithms to actually say, hey, you are at the risk of a heart attack or something. So their AI algorithm is actually making a decision based on the data. So there is an AI involved here. Or wherever you have, say, a medical device, like Mukul was saying, it is supposed to see X-ray scans, and it is using an AI algorithm to decide if you have, say, COVID or pneumonia or not. So obviously that is an AI enabled SMDs, where a normal rule based system is not, which is defined on strict rules and not on huge amount of data set. So yeah, that's the one. Maybe next question.
Yeah, thank you so much. So our next one is right here. So talking about why some of the attacks
Yes.
were dubbed as an AI attack, as would it also be applicable to SaMD? Can you give an example of some assets that are exclusive only to AI that warrant separate cybersecurity treatment compared to SaMD?
Yes, so it's exactly the way that I was trying to answer the last question. It's very similar. So, yes, you are right, Haryadi. The same, it's applicable to any SMD. You do not want any SMD to like be able to like cause patient harm or go wrong, right? But whenever you have, say, an AI model in place, you obviously need a little separate cyber. It's a brilliant question. It actually just solidifies what we are trying to say throughout the entire webinar, that yes, if you have an AI model, you need that last layer of defense for your model. You can have your traditional cybersecurity in place, okay, you can have all sorts of controls, but just with the ability for any player to just send an input and get an output. Say, for an example, if I'm in a hospital and there is a AI enabled SMDs whose job is to predict if the person has COVID or not, and if I'm able to do it like multiple times, if I have the ability to query it, say, 1,000 times or 2,000 times, I have the ability to put some sketches and dots on the drawing and see if the algorithm flips. That is good enough. Like the device itself is in a secure environment, but it doesn't matter. The Just if I have the ability to interact with the system, that is send an input, get an output, I'm able to actually generate these adversarial examples and see where the algorithm flips. And just think about it. Suppose somebody puts a small dot on the lens so that it systematically comes up on the image, and you are able to drive, say, 70 or 60% of the x-rays to, say, COVID positive, where they are supposed to be negative. That is like very, very dangerous in a healthcare setting. So yes, so that's why you need separate cybersecurity treatment. You need the last layer of defense for the model itself, because it is your most precious asset in any SMDs that is using AI. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Manpreet. So it looks like we've got about 3 minutes, a little over 3 minutes left. Let's do one last question real quick. It's one of the most recent ones that was initiated right here. So these security issues can apply to medical apps, correct? Um, if so, some of these apps speak to the NHS database and returning AI consultation outputs. Are you able to control and protect sharing with such third-party users?
I could not understand the last part of the question. Are you able to control and protect sharing with sharing what, the data? Or I just could not understand the last bit, sorry. I
Okay.
understood the first two sentences, but I need a little more clarification in the last sentence. Are you able to control and protect sharing
I
securely?
see, yes, the data.
Okay, so basically, Dakshani, thanks again for the question. So Chani, we are in the model security of AI models. So we deal with security of the model. We do not deal with the security of data. Okay. So uh, if you need data security, then it's like this is not the topic that we are addressing, because we data security will be met by other technologies, other players, like you might want to use confidential computing or whatnot. So this is not a domain that AI shield, AI security actually takes care of, like the data sharing aspect. But that being said, AI shield capabilities definitely ensure in many ways that, say, your training data is not leaked. There is a certain type of attack which is called membership inference attack. Now, this might be a little unrelated to your question, but I would still like to highlight. So, in a membership inference attack, an attacker is actually able to, with the ability to query the model, is able to infer if, say, Mukul Dongre was a part of the training dataset, or if I myself was a part of the training dataset, and also retrieve all our personally identifiable information. This is possible. I would request you to read about this attack, which is known as membership inference attack. So, with our capability, yes, we have the capability that can help secure AI algorithms so that they do not leak private information or confidential data. But as far as data sharing, I need to understand this question a little more depth. Maybe we can connect offline and take this question in much greater depth and allocate it the time it needs. So yeah.
Thanks so much, Manpreet. All right. Well, and with that, we're at time. I really want to thank both Mukul and Manpreet for such an informative 50 minutes here. Thanks to everybody that was able to attend today. We'll be right back at the top of the hour to hear about cybersecurity and the FDA. Greenlight Guru has been named the #1 medical device QMS by Q2. So sign up for a demo today with a link in the chat and I'm about to post, or you can also go to greenlight.guru//webinar. But I want to thank everybody for their time and attention today. The recording will be, like I said, within the chat. Will be provided via email later today or tomorrow. We'll see you back here soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. It was a great experience
Yeah.
working with Gigi. Yeah. Okay.